You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Shannon Register, and this weekend we have been talking about women in leadership. There are so many women in leadership. We've talked with Kathy, who does the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program here in Houston. She's the executive director, and that is a wonderful program for anyone who owns a small business to help them with a growth strategy. We have really talked, we've talked with different organizations as well. We talked with Cindy Reddy for the Women's Council of Realtors, who's the national president. And there are so many ways for women to be leaders in our community. And we've talked about different ways they lead in their company and in organizations. And this segment, we're talking about leadership in the political realm. And you don't have to run for office to be a leader out there, a spokesperson, an advocate. And so I've got Debbie Riddle joining me here today. And Debbie is the state rep for District 150. She's been on the show before, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about this because she wrote the book on it. So, Debbie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shannon. I'm really excited to be here.
So you wrote a great book that I've read, and tell us about the book that you read and that you wrote and why.
Well, the title of the book is Taking Back Your Country, Your Community, and Your Kids. The reason that I wrote the book, Shannon, is I was getting so many questions about how do I fix this or how do I deal with that in politics, with what's going on in my government, my school board. How do I get involved? That's the basic question. What do I do? Mm-hmm. And I kept giving the same answer over and over and over, and I thought it'd just be easier if I wrote a book and
just
hand them the book. Yeah. And so that's what the book is about, how to have a part in your world, in your political world, in your community, so that your voice can be heard. From the moment you wake up in the morning until you go to bed at night, even while you're asleep, your government affects every moment of your day. Mm-hmm. You can't even lay down on your bed or go by a pillow. You know the little tag that it says federally regulated and says do not remove. Mm-hmm. And we've got 20-year-old mattresses with the tag still on it because we think that the police will come get us if we tear it off. And our taxes. So when you get up in the morning and your feet hit the ground, well, it hits the ground in your home where you or your apartment.
You never really own a house. You got to pay taxes on it.
You got to pay taxes on it. You got to pay taxes on it. And what's going on with that tax money, and where's it going, and how much money are you being taxed? Issues with your kids. If your kids are going to public school, well, then there's school boards and things going on. So every facet of your life, government is involved. You need to be involved and have your voice heard.
Mm-hmm. So women get really busy. I don't. For me, I've seen this a lot where women get really busy and focused on one thing. They're either stay-at-home moms. They're all in it. That's all they do is with their kids. And then you have women who own businesses, and it seems like that's all they do is business. And then you have women who volunteer for organizations or a church, and they're very much devoted to that. Don't see a lot of doing a lot of different things. So I guess in this, one of the things that I want to do in this show is, one, we want productive women who are good in business to cross these other thresholds and do lots of different things in leadership. And also just making sure that, all of these things tie in together. You want people who are productive in society to be giving back in all these different ways because they are so important to our society. They do so much, and they have so much knowledge and so many skills that they can give back. So in the political realm, they don't have to run for office to do great things. There's a lot of opportunities out there for them to give back and to lead others and to help out. So I wanted to talk about that today.
And I tell you, that's wonderful to discuss, because the ones that are masters at multitasking are women. I mean, there was a song about it. We can pick up the phone, carry on a conversation, have a baby on our hip, have dinner going, solve major issues while we're doing 15 other things. And so, women are outstanding at multitasking. I've got to tell you, in the legislature, I think the women excel because we can multitask. On the floor of the House, I'm doing 25 things at the same time. I'm listening to what's going on in debate. I'm usually walking around the various other desks talking to my colleagues about either bills in committee or bills I'm trying to get out of committee, or a bill I'm trying to pass, or a bill I'm trying to kill, or an amendment that I want to put on a bill that's that's going to be coming up. All the while, I'm listening to what is going on regarding the debate and ready to vote at any moment. And we signal to each other if we're not seated at our desk. So our desk mate or somebody around that can push the button for us. And that signal is one finger up is yes and two is no. Because we just don't sit at our desk and just do nothing but push the red button or the green button.
Yeah.
So, but the women are great at the multitasking, where we're discussing different bills, different amendments, voting on this bill coming up, and that's the way it is. So, women excel in this area.
What would you recommend to someone who's never been in politics, they've never gotten involved, they've never had a reason to, and now for whatever reason, they do have a reason to get involved? And, everybody's passions are different. There are different triggers that get people involved in politics. So whenever that trigger hits, whatever the case may be that causes them to get involved, what do you recommend to them to learn what they need to know to be able to do what they want to do?
Don't wait for the trigger to be pulled. First of all, don't wait for a crisis. Determine what your passion is. If your passion is education, if you've got small children, it needs to be your passion. If you've got kids, grandkids in school, even if you don't have kids, it's costing you a lot of money to educate these kids in our area. And so get involved with the school board. You can go to school board meetings, sit and listen and take in the information. Visit with school board members. You might even want to think about helping somebody in a school board race or run for school board yourself. You can get involved in the various clubs. If you're a Republican, which in my area, most are, there's various Republican clubs that you can go and visit, and each one has its own personality and its focus, and so you can visit and kind of float your way through there and see what strikes.
See if that's a good fit.
Yeah, see if that's a good fit. If the area of medicine is important to you, then you might want to talk to doctors and talk to people in the medical area, and then get with your state representative and say, I'm interested in these things. And how can I be involved? Your state rep will sit down and visit with you and talk to you about it.
And y'all have precinct chairs that are good resources as well, right?
Yes, we do. Throughout Texas, as well as in Harris County, the areas are divided up into precincts, your voting precincts. And as a general rule, you've got a precinct chair that's going to be active. Call your precinct chair. Talk to your precinct chair. And your precinct chair will likely help. But your elected officials, they'll dive in. They'll help you. First of all, campaigns always come up, and everybody always needs volunteers.
Yeah. Good resource to just jump in there and volunteer and see how you can help.
Just jump in, volunteer. Call your county party. If you're Republican, call Harris County Republican Party or whatever county you're in. If you're Democrat, then call the Democrat. If you're independent, then call the Republican. And you can volunteer at the county party. There's a lot of areas that you can get involved with. Advocacy groups. You can get involved with a group that's an advocate for whatever your passion is.
And there are a lot of hot topics out right now.
You bet.
A lot of groups you can get involved in on that right now. All right, so here's a question for you. Are leaders better producers, or are producers better leaders?
Oh my, that's kind of which comes first, the chicken or the egg. And I always answer that saying the chicken, because God made the animals first. So looking at it, I think that producers make the better leaders in a sense, because they are experienced in what it takes to get the job done. Somebody walking in wanting to be a leader that doesn't really know how all the pieces fit together reminds me a little bit of when my husband and I, with our 3 kids, when our eldest son was little, we went on took him on a little hike, in the woods, just to let him see nature. And he said, I want to be the leader, Daddy. And we kind of let him walk ahead, even though he wasn't really leading.
Right.
We let him think. But if you really know how the pieces fit together, I think they make good leaders.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Well, we appreciate you coming on today to talk about leadership. You obviously are in a great leadership position. You've done a lot and have the ability to help a lot of women out there who want to get involved in politics. So we appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Shannon, and you're a magnificent leader yourself. I admire you greatly.
All right, we'll be back next week here on Houston Real Estate Radio. And if you've got any real estate questions, we're talking about real estate next week, you can call us with your questions at 281-882-8088. And if you missed any of today's show, you can catch it all online at HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. And don't forget to like us on Facebook. We put a lot of videos over there, too, on Facebook.com/Houston Real Estate Radio.